Good morning, runners. Welcome to the core strategy session on Thursday morning. It's Thursday, right?
It is Thursday morning, yep.
I'm so confused right now. I have no idea what day it is, but it's an important part is we are here to talk about the RBC Brooklyn Half, guide you mile by mile, give you some tips and tricks, talk about the lovely weather. Today was great so far. Saturday's looking a little dicey, but we will go through that. I am joined today by my co-coach, Anik Lamar. Anik, how's it going today? How you feeling?
It's
good?
It's good. I'm excited for runners. We have our pre-party down on Brooklyn Bridge Pier 2 going on. We are hanging out with very excited runners, and we are back, Coach Ben. So we haven't put on this race since 2019. It is extremely exciting to be back here talking about the Brooklyn Half, getting ready to run. And we are here over the next hour or so to help you runners understand the course. It is essential for a runner to know what is about to happen. And the longer the course, the more you have to know. But don't worry, we are going to make sure you've got all the information. And we want to hear from you too. So if you have any questions for us, please drop them in the chat. We love to answer even like the questions that you think are stupid are the ones that are probably the most important to ask. So really ask away. What do you need to know about the course to feel confident for race day? And how can we help you? So I'm excited, Coach Ben.
Yeah, the race is Saturday.
The race is Saturday.
Saturday.
We want to say that again. We've had a couple runners who they said to me, see you Sunday. And I was like, you won't see me Sunday because it's Saturday. It's one of those races. A lot of the big races are on Sundays. Yeah. So it's important to know it is a Saturday race. Let's start there. But where else should we start, Coach Ben? What are some of the top things we need to know?
Yeah, they're the three pillars that we do as coaches. We always want to make sure that you are prepared as best you can to get to the start line. And the three pillars we have, the top one is racing before the race. You do not want to do that. So have all of your pre-race stuff mapped out, planned out. You come to the pre-party, you're going to grab your bib, go through the New Balance area, maybe grab some new swag, come back and see the coaches and the pacers and the running lab, get some tips and tricks, and then you're going to go home and just chill out. You want to get everything prepared, know what time you're going to be at your wave. There's boards back there that give you some ideas on what time to be there for your wave. If you're dropping a bag, what time to get there for bag check, when bag check will close. Do not miss that bag check because you want to give yourself enough time to get to where you're going to be if you're taking public transportation, knowing what train to get off, what stop, whether you're wave 1 or wave 2, because you don't want to be wasting energy, stressing out, freaking out. You want to save all that energy, be as comfortable, be relaxed. Get to the corral as early as you can. Sit down, bring the newspaper, bring something to read, just hang out, talk to runners. You're all going to have the nervous energy going on, but you want to make sure that you're not running around trying to get things up. Where's my hydration belt? Where's my fuel? Have all that done the night before on Friday night for the Saturday race. Again, we'll be emphasizing that over the next hour or so because you want to have everything laid out, make it relaxing, get a good night's sleep as best you can on Friday night. And then once you're at the Corral, Anik, everyone's buying swag. New Balance is going to be there at the pre-party. We always encourage runners to buy it. But is it good to wear something new on race day?
So this brings us to our second pillar, which is nothing new on race day, Coach Ben. This is so important. It's exciting, right? We get it. You are in a corral with other runners. They're talking about how they've been training. So this nothing new on race day extends to all sorts of things. Don't listen to how other runners have been training and decide to adopt their race plan in the corral. It feels tempting because people are confident and they feel excited and you're like, that sounds really interesting. Maybe I should try a new race plan. Don't. That extends to you found something really cool at the pre-party and maybe you want to wear it like a new pair of shoes, but you've never worn this pair of shoes before. Don't do that either. You might be tempted to research online great superfoods to eat right before your race. I know I've done this. Don't do that either. Eat what you've eaten all during your training. So you're looking for food that you know is digestible, you're looking for clothing that you know is really, really comfortable and your body will be happy to be wearing it for 13.1 miles, and you're looking for a race strategy and a plan that you know you can successfully accomplish. So it is so tempting. It is human nature. It is so tempting to mix it up in the excitement of the event, but really hone in, nothing new on race day. Do what has worked for you, and don't be swayed or tempted by other things you hear or learn in the last 24 hours before a race. It can really be detrimental to a race effort. So what is our last one, Coach Ben?
So far I've taken happy clothes, happy body. I like that.
Happy clothes, happy body.
Hashtag that, runners out there. Happy clothes, happy body. I love that. Go with that one, runners. Last but not least, you've done all that. The horn will go off. Do not, or try your best to not go out too fast. Everybody wants to, the race is on, the jitters are there, you want to just get going. And this course is a downhill start. Washington Avenue is downhill. It will tempt you to say, hey, come on, pick up an extra mile. You don't want to PR that mile. Because then you have 12 more miles of hopefully continuing to PR the mile, but that could be a very challenging day. So again, start off conservative, start off slow. We will touch a little bit more about the weather. I'm sure as runners, we always look at the weather. The forecast for Saturday morning is beginning to pop up in that 48-hour time frame. It will be warm. Don't worry, our safety team is all on top of it. They're taking care of things to making sure that we have the safest and best experience for all of our runners out there as you conquer your 13.1 miles. So again, being conservative early in your race, not going out too fast, and this race will be critical because you only have so much onboard fuel and you will be sweating a lot. If you're a heavy sweater like I am, expect to be sweating pretty early in the race. We'll talk about the hydration stations that are out there. Do not miss the hydration stations when you're going through the race. Keep everything very conservative, especially through those first 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 miles until you get onto Ocean Parkway. Yeah, you want to make sure you're controlled and you're conservative because last thing you want to do is finally get out of the park and just have the wheels come off. Just taking a little bit extra time out there. But we've gone through that, Anik. I know when I'm done here, I'm going down to Brooklyn to our pre-party. And runners, this is where the fun is going to be. We have our baggage area down there. You're going to go down there. You're going to get your bib. Please bring your friends and family down there. The only people that need to show any proof of vaccination will be the runners. But bring your friends and family. I saw people playing Jenga, cornhole. The food trucks are down there. The party. It was so much fun yesterday out there, Anik. It was good times.
This is, dare I say, one of my favorite. If you don't know what a pre-party is, it's like an expo but more fun. That is what our pre-party is, just so you have a frame of reference if you're just joining us. But the pre-party is actually a lot of fun. It is one of the most gorgeous spots in New York City. There is a lot of fun. There's food trucks. It's really enjoyable. So if you have yet to pick up your bib, even on a rainy day like this, it's still a really great place to be. And so we're having a lot of fun down there. So we hope you all join us.
Please come on by. And I'll give you, this is a quick snapshot of the start line. You'll see where Wave 1 and Wave 2. It is on Eastern Parkway. So again, know what trains you need. It's the 2, 3 on both sides. If you're coming in, you can take the queue for Wave 1. It's a little bit longer of a walk from Prospect Park where you exit. Wave 2 does have that queue option at 7th Avenue. You will walk through, back check will be first. So all runners out there, checking your bag. You will check your bag and then you will walk through the security and into the corrals. Corrals will be A to L for both ways. Wave 1 will have the double A corral, and then they will queue you up. And 7 o'clock start time for Wave 1, 7:45 for Wave 2 on Washington. But we've done all that. We're in the corrals. We are starting. So now we are at the start line, Anik. And I don't know. I mean, there's just certain kind of a vibe when the horn goes off. You're ready to go. Now talk about that feeling. Look at these runners here. Happy runners, having a good time, happy bodies too.
Oh, I love the start. It is also the most dangerous part of a race, right? It is. You can never win a race in the first mile, but boy, can you lose a race. And that can mean for your personal race plan. So this is where, as a coach, I'm just on the sidelines praying, like, slow down, please slow down, like, please slow down. Your adrenaline is wonderful. It's a great sort of exciting energy source for you to really carries you through the day. Your adrenaline will spike at the start. The horn will go off, you will feel enthusiastic, you are here, you've been training for so long, and everyone decides that they are Usain Bolt at the start. Do not be Usain Bolt. Be that confident runner who's like, no, this is not a 100-meter race, we are not at the Olympics. Pull it back, be really conservative here, take a deep breath, and a lot of runners are just warming up. I know it's gonna be warm in air temperature, but it's also gonna be a time when your body's actually starting to warm up. So give yourself that mile to just relax into it.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is the downhill start. So people always ask me, we have some questions, how much should I warm up before the race? What should I be doing when I'm out there? This start kind of lends itself to a nice, open up that stride, kind of get the legs flowing a little bit, because you do have a good kilometer, maybe about 1,200 meters down the hill on Washington Avenue to kind of get things going. This picture here is probably going to be a pretty good indicator of what the day will look like out there, runners. The forecast is going to be a bit warm. There may be some clouds in the morning, but the sun will pop out. It will be a beautiful day to be running. But as the runners make their way around, they will come around the corner, and now we will be hitting mile 2. This is a great part of the course as we make our way up on Flatbush and back around Grand Army. You see our pace team there. For runners out there that maybe have done the United Airlines NYC half, this part of the course will look very familiar. But it's always cool when you go back and forth on a course, you see other runners, kind of the energy there, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, this is a really fun part of the course. It doubles back on itself. And there are, I think, 22,000 folks we have coming out. Friends, 22,000 friends. This is one of the biggest half marathons in the world. It is a massive race, and we love it exactly for that reason. New York, we like to do it all up big, and we do that big for this race here. The thing is, you'll double back, you'll see people, so enjoy the atmosphere, have fun with it, and really just enjoy that part of the race. If you're not having fun in that first part of the race, I really encourage you to take in the sights. It's gorgeous right there, and you've got that amazing pace team. If you are running by some of your pacers, Ben's going to show you what these pace signs are. And let's talk about this because these pacers are amazing. They've got a lot of training. They're some of the best runners in New York City, and they're metronomes, which is why we have them. So they will get you exactly on your time. Actually, about 30 seconds faster, right, Coach Ben?
That's what we're going for. Yeah, we have our finish time up there. All the pace teams out there, you see them wearing our beautiful blue and white singlets out there. They'll have these lovely little sticks with our signs. They'll have the finish time on one side, the average per mile pace on the other. Again, we are aiming for 30 seconds below that. That's our goal to get you in. Because again, if you're going for 2 hours, you don't want to finish in 2 hours. You want that 1:59 something at the end. So that's what the pacers will be going for. And people ask us, we do give a average pace per mile. While this course definitely is faster on the back half, there are a few ups and downs in the first part. So expect some miles to maybe be a little bit slower on the uphills, a little bit quicker on the downhills. But at the end of the day, your pacers know what they're doing. They've run this course several times on their own, where they raced it. Again, these are the best around, the best in New York City, the best that we can find, and they are going to do a fantastic job. Looking forward to it out there. Because again, I mean, if you're concerned or not sure about how you're feeling that day, as I say, jump on the party, let the pacers do the work. I've used our pace team for our races in the past. They do a fantastic job. Let them do the work until it's time for you to go do your race somewhere on Ocean Parkway. Just settle in, enjoy yourself. But before you know it, you will have made your way all the way around and into really one of the most beautiful parts of Brooklyn, even New York City. I mean, I don't live down here, but I love to run in Prospect Park. I know, Nick, you used to live in Brooklyn. How beautiful and special is Prospect Park?
It's a gorgeous park. It really is. You have Central Park in Manhattan, which gets all sorts of fame and glory for New York City parks, but Prospect Park is gorgeous. It is a wonderful running hub for the New York City community, and it's a gorgeous place to be, and it's shady. It's really nice that the race starts by doing a full loop of Prospect Park. So it's a perfect way to kick off this Brooklyn-themed race.
And it's shady in a good way, right?
It's shady, yeah. It's real shady. Yeah, we have fun in Brooklyn. It's shady in Brooklyn. No, it's tree-lined. I think they said there were like 10,000 trees in Prospect Park or something like that. It's a phenomenal site. It's historical. So if you do find yourself, really enjoy it, which goes to the whole point of the beginning of the race, which is enjoy it, relax, have fun with this, and really enjoy that part of the park. But there is something in this park that we do want you to know about, Coach Ben. What is the surprise for runners?
Surprise in a good way. No, there's one small incline. I'll call it an incline. I won't even really call it a hill, but it is the famed Battle Pass Hill on the east side of the park. As you come in around about the base of mile 4, maybe a little bit inside of that, you have about a 3/4 of a mile climb up to mile 5, the top of Prospect Park on Battle Pass Hill. You see the information here. It's about a 4% grade, 4.2. Your Strava may give it a bit more. But it's a gradual climb. I said over the course of about 1 kilometer to 1,200 meters up. So it's not tough. People ask, is it tougher than the hills in Central Park or here or there? I find Battle Pass Hill to be more of a kind of a meandering climb, but it does have these little false peaks as you go through. Yeah. And so, again, this is where if you're going to be running with the pace team, let them do the work. Because there are some areas where you think are the top, but no, it's another turnaround there, another turnaround here. And there is a point where you actually will see the other side of the park, people going down the hill. Oh, I must almost be there. You're not quite there yet, so just kind of keep on going. You'll make a final little sweeping left-hand turn at the top of Prospect Park. You will see Grand Army out the way on your right. That's when you know you've hit the top. But again, this is really the toughest part of the course. And if you're running with the pace team, they will bring the effort. They're going to be running by effort, not by pace. So again, if you're going for that 8 minute per mile, you may be doing 8:20s, 8:30s up Prospect Park, up Battle Pass Hill. But when you make your way to the west side and come back down, as these runners here on the next slide, if it wants to change, it's as tired as I am today. Look at this guy, he's feeling good. You will be taking down the other side of the park, and so you will, I'll put it in quotes, make up anytime you may have quote unquote lost. It's really not making up, it's really conserving your, the energy you have. And again, the weather's going to be warm and unique, and I think we should kind of start prepping the runners if you already haven't seen that. But how important is it going to be running by effort, conserving that energy?
Yeah, it's going to be what makes or breaks the quality of your race. So we really want, from optimal performance standpoint, you to have your best race. That means having fun. That means being safe, and that means conserving energy early. And even if it weren't warm, this is still an excellent race plan, right? So what we're talking about is just excellent training guidelines and race plans, and that is just even more important when it's hot out. When you're warm, your body is just put under another layer of stress, right? It's trying to maintain its internal conditions, and you get a little fatigued easier. And so if you go out like a bat out of hell, like my meatloaf quote, and it's warm, your body is put under a lot of stress very early in the race. It is a hole that it's really hard to dig yourself out of.
Yeah.
It becomes psychologically challenging, it becomes physically challenging. The best thing you can do is really pull back, control your effort. You want to finish in Coney Island with not a bit of energy left, but you've got to just like as if they were grains of rice, gently leave them around the course. You got a bag of rice, you can't get rid of half the bag right away. You've got to spread it out throughout the race. That's your energy. You've got to save some for your race.
And that's perfect. And up here on the screen, runners, I pointed out, we do have hydration stations out there. There will be 9. There are 5 in the first part of the course here. I circled those. Don't miss one. Be on top of your hydration. The bottom part there, I've circled where you see the elevation map. That is the first 6 miles as you come off of the start through Prospect Park. The pace team will point out where the water stations are. The majority of them will be on runner right. I think there's a couple maybe on left when you're in the park. But do not miss the water stations, even if it's just a splash and go, kind of swish some water around your mouth, maybe get a little bit of Haterade. It's out there. Every water station will be about a block long in terms of how, if you're on a city street here in Manhattan or in Brooklyn. Gatorade will be first, water will be second. If they are crowded, you don't have to go to the very first one. You can go around to the second or the third spot. There'll be plenty for everybody. If you're going to be walking through a water station, just make sure that you signal, put your hand up so runners know that you'll be stopping so that you don't bump into somebody or someone bumps into you. But make sure you're on top of your hydration because like Anik said, if you get in that dark place, and unfortunately I think some of us have been there before, it's not a pretty place to be. I've been there myself because once the fuel is gone, and there's really no coming back from it. So don't want to be any kind of doomsday, just really want to be honest with all the runners here. But then once we exit out of the park, we now hit the infamous Ocean Parkway, mile 7. This is where our gel sponsor, Science and Sport, will be as you come out of the park. Turn this off here. It is early. I'm sorry, runners. I'm still waking up. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. But I'm making our way out here. Here is Ocean Parkway. It will be gorgeous. Science and Sport gel station will be around this exit when you come through, off on Prospect Park. But Ocean Parkway runners, perfectly flat, downhill, and what awaits them along the route here, Anik?
Oh, this is an amazing part of the course, right? This is where this course was made for running fast, right? So our hope for you is that you have taken miles 1 through 6 and you've been very conservative in your race plan so that when you get to this point at mile 7, it is perfect for you to then increase your speed if you want. And we're not talking starting to sprint. You're really not close to Coney Island yet. But what we mean is that you can actually enjoy the free speed that comes from a slightly downhill, straight shot, super flat straightaway that goes on for miles. And this is a runner's dream. There are cheer zones. There are people out there. If you want family and friends, it's a great place to be. They can see you coming. They can see you going. It's a lot of fun on Ocean Parkway. Some runners, we will admit, feel a little of the monotony because it is such a perfect straight shot. There's no turns, there's no twist. You have this great straightaway for miles. So that's when runners sometimes like to either count
Oh, the avenues.
Count the avenues.
Game, yeah.
You play the alphabet game, which can be a little bit of a trick because after Z, there's still more roads. It's not like Coney Island pops up right at Z. But you can play the alphabet game. You can think about. I know Coach Steve loves. There's like an overpass that he or the train he loves to look at. Yep. There's different ways to play it in your mind, but know that this is a really great place for you to enjoy your running. It is optimized for performance.
It really, it is, and people ask, is it a faster course than like United Airlines NYC Half? It's 100% quicker. It's really made to have a good day because once you come out of the park, it is, as Anik said, it is a flat shot. You have a 10K-ish plus down to Coney Island. Again, on a good day, this is where like in 2018, we had conditions like this morning. It was a little rainy, cooler. It was a miss. You could pick it up and you can really find your race around that mile 9:10. Yeah, but this is the point where you want to settle in. The Pacers will probably be on pace at this point, so that 8 minute per mile, they'll be just ticking them off. You will be the metronome, just turning your legs over. At this point, your fuel plan, again, everything you plan for, nothing new, as we talked about. This is where the fuel strategy you have will be fully in play. You'll be on top of it. You'll be doing good. Again, will be a few more water stations. I'll circle the ones that are coming down here. You see there's about 4 of them here. There's one at mile 8 coming up, and you have 10 and 11. So, again, that one at mile 8, I'll put the mile markers up here for all the runners as well. You see that gap between here to here, just be very mindful of this. There is a little bit of a gap here, so do not miss that aid station at mile 8 because you do have about 1.5 miles, 1 3/4 until the next one. So take a little bit more. Even means having to carry the water a few blocks just to make sure you have some, dunking some over your head. If you are feeling overheated at this point because it will be warm, just make sure you hit those pulse points, on the wrist, inside the elbow, the neck, those areas to cool you down. Throw some on the back of your neck. If you're wearing a hat, dunk some over on top of your head to cool you off, because again, this is part of the course where it will get a bit warm. There's not much shade. All of the aid stations will be on runner right. The shade is usually over on runner left. Sorry about that. We couldn't move the trees over for you. I'll talk to our events team about that for next year. We'll see if we can move some trees over. But again, you have here, we talked about the alphabet game, Avenue A through Z. But yeah, again, here just kind of you're going to be in there. Our volunteers are going to be out there handing the water out. I mean, how great are the volunteers to be out there, Nick? It's amazing.
They're tremendous. They're going to have these stations ready for you, and I think our volunteers are going to be very popular. I think they're going to be very popular in a way they aren't on cold, rainy days. So thank them if you see them. And I think we're asking runners to have a lot of grace going through these water stations. Everyone's going to be super thirsty, as they naturally are during a half marathon. But it's just important to grab 2 cups if you need 2 cups. Move back on the road, slow down your pace so you can actually drink some of the water that you have. So, it's one of those things that we're asking runners to slow down their pace a little bit. 15 seconds, 30 seconds to drink a cup of water is more important than that time would be sprinting through the aid station. So really prioritize getting the water more than anything else on race day.
Yeah, and we really can't stress that enough, runners. I mean, it's, we would have preferred a little bit different conditions come Saturday morning, but unfortunately we do not. Even Sundays look very good. But don't worry about Sunday. We'll worry about Saturday right now, runners. Yeah, but just take care of yourselves out there and take care of each other. Making sure, runners don't always recognize the stress they may be in the moment because you are kind of in your own tunnel. But if you're out there and you know that your day is kind of, not where you want to be and you're kind of looking around, just keep an eye on somebody else because, it could really help yourself and help another runner because, again, this is a community of runners. We want to take care of each other. There will be another day. There will be another race. We want to make sure we get to Coney Island. And speaking of that, Anik, what awaits them? Because you come down, you see the ever popular, you see that overpass where this subway is. You're at about mile 11.5. Then you make a sweeping right-hand turn onto Surf Ave. And what do we got, Anik?
And then you find yourself on the Cyclone. No, I'm just joking. Don't ride the Cyclone. It really hurts.
Kind of roller coaster,
no, I drove. It's like this antique historical roller coaster I once made the mistake of riding, and my back has never been the same. So don't do the Cyclone. Sorry, I just had to. But you find yourself, you're going to go on the right, and then you're going to do a quick left, and then you are on the boardwalk. And the boardwalk is super fun. But let's talk about the pass between getting on the boardwalk. Because this is a little bit, the boardwalk was made for families on a Saturday stroll. It was made for, gentle bike rides. It is totally going to be a great place for 22,000 runners. But if you find yourself in a big pace group, for example, or you find yourself in a big clump of runners, just know that it narrows right before you get on the boardwalk, and it is going to be 2 little sharp turns before you get to the beautiful finish line. And so what you're going to want to do is just make sure you give yourself space and everyone else space. You don't want to be crushing into the little, it's just like a little on-ramp. It's almost like a highway on-ramp that just gets narrow. You want to give a lot of space on the highway on-ramp, and then you find yourself on the finish line at the boardwalk. It is one of my favorite finishes that we have, which is hilarious because we have a lot of races, but this is my favorite finish. You have the Atlantic Ocean on your left. You have Nathan's Hot Dogs on your right. It is a gorgeous way to finish a race. So put your hands up in the air, smile, cheer. Everyone who does this race on Saturday has earned my respect and utmost, admiration. So really appreciate your accomplishment. And look up, because that's where the cameras are. We don't have any cameras on the ground. I just wanted to clarify, there are no cameras down. They are all up. So look up, smile, throw those hands in the air so you get a great race day photo.
Yeah, last thing, I heard yesterday that our timing team has actual mats out that catch the time of the runners. This is a whole new thing we have.
It's shocking. I know. Sometimes runners love to, I'm guilty of this, like through the line, you got it, nailed it. But you can go back on certain things like Strava, and I know in Garmin's you can adjust the time. So runners, your watch will be fine. We have your time. Trust us. We got you. We got great timing mats that'll get your time. So just enjoy that finish. You have earned it.
You want that picture, not that picture, folks. You want head up, not head down. We got your time. You'll have a good time. And more importantly, when you come through there, you have your head's going to be up. You're going to feel good. You're going to cheer it off. You're going to come off. You're going to get that awesome new medal we have. The runners loving that out there. You get the medal when you come through. And then more importantly, you will have entered what we affectionately call mile 14. It's not any additional, parts of where you're going, but this is the walk-off after the race, and this is going to be even in a good race, the walk-off is so important. You come off the heart's pumping. People think I just want to stop and sit down. Is that a good idea, Anik?
For your bodies, for a variety of reasons, to cool down properly, to get in the shade, for runner flow, keep moving. It feels tempting to sit down. You want to keep moving. You want to slowly reduce your heart rate. You don't want to just stop and just be done. We really want you to slowly reduce the heart rate. And so the best thing you can do is casually, leisurely, slowly walk through the finish line. Get your medal, get your recovery bag. We have these amazing recovery bags from HSS. They've got all sorts of goodies, and they have really stuff that you need to refuel right away. So this is the quickest way for you to get fluids in. If you want anything that's salty because you've been heavily sweating throughout the day, these bags are nice and heavy and full of great products. And so get the bag and then really slowly enjoy the walk-off.
It's so critical. That bag has, Gatorade, there'll be Flow water, there will be pretzels from Snyder's. Science and Sport will have some sort of chew or bar. There'll be an apple in there as well. You try to ingest something, get the fluids in because your body will be looking for something. Again, you will have sweated a lot. At that point, if you're not sweating, that's a bad sign. Hopefully you're still sweating very well at that point. The medical teams will be out there. They will have their eyes on everybody. So if you are feeling faint of any kind or need some attention, seek out somebody on the medical team to help you out. Again, take care of each other, but walk on through. Our hospital for special surgery will be there as well in the recovery zone. So if you're feeling good, but maybe you want to go and roll out a little bit, maybe get a light massage when you're done, head on over to the recovery zone. HSS, we're so happy to have this amenity back. For so long, we could not have this in some of our races, so happy to have HSS recovery zone back. And then after you make your way through there, you will then make your way and pick up your bag, hit the family reunion spot. Have those plans ahead of time. I've been to Coney Island a few times and down there. How busy does it get? How tough is it to get those text messages through, Anik?
It's busy. We're right on the ocean, and there are 22,000 people and many of their family members all together. And sometimes the self-service is fine, and in some years it's been a little patchy. This applies to any race. Your phone can die, you can lose it. Have a family reunion plan. And the way that we have it in the stadium is very intuitive. It is by A to Z. You can do it by last name. You can do it by your favorite letter. But you can choose a place in the stadium to reconnect. You can also choose a cross street outside the walk-off zone. You can choose a Nathan's hot dog space. There's a lot of places for you to choose with your family exactly where you're going to reconnect, and we really encourage runners to do it. As a staff member, it's one of the, I think, most stressful things for families and runners when they can't find each other. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to have a place that you're going to meet up, and the stadium's got the A to Z section, so you can reconnect your runner there. But have a plan, and don't count on self-service to save the day.
There's a rumor going around that if you find Coach Steve, he'll buy you a hot dog.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I think that's going on, so
I heard you have to catch him and hug him.
Okay.
And if you're sweatier, the better, and he'll buy you a hot dog. And we're going to really position him as this is probably a lie we've created.
But hey, we're going with it.
We're going to go with it. So at least give him a high five if you see him.
See Coach Steve out there. The coaches will be out there. Give some love to the volunteer staff, your fellow runners, the pace team out there. But here is the finish area. This is the walk-off runners. You see that area. Kind of do some circles here real quick. You see this there. This is where you finish. Those are those turns that Coach Anik was talking about on the boardwalk. Those stars are where you're going to be crossing through. Then you have your walk-off, which is going to be down here into the baggage area. Very important to keep on moving as you go through. And then last but not least, here is where the park is. You'll enter in there, get some refreshments, find your family and friends. And last but not least, if you are taking public transportation, the subway stops you'll see here, D, F, and Q off of Stillwell. Make sure you have some money on your card before you get there. I made this mistake one year, and I waited in line for about 4.5 days to finally refill my card before I got on the subway. My wife sent out an APB, and they found me somewhere in Brooklyn, but I made it out alive. So have some extra money on there. It's about $2.75 per ride, so put $10 on there. You should be good. Again, if you use your phone to tap in, your phone may have died if you're tracking yourself or listening to music when you're out there. But again, have those plans in place because, again, the last thing you want to do is have to spend any more time on your feet. You want to get in that air-conditioned subway car because, man, it's going to feel really good.
Yeah, that's the gift. That's getting in that subway car. Yeah, but that's actually, I just want to reiterate, Coach Ben has the insider tip. He just got back from Coney Island yesterday where he was waiting at the machine. Have your Metro card preloaded, ready to go, swipe on. And we're really lucky because a lot of subway lines are right in Coney Island, so it makes it quick access for all over the city. Get some food, get on the subway, head home, and just put your feet up.
Whew, that was tough. I'm going to have a drink of water here before we start with questions and shout-outs, runners, but we are in Coney Island. Shout-outs, questions, keep them coming in, runners. We've got some stuff coming up here. What do we have, Sam? Ours, and looking forward to coming down tomorrow from Albany. Safe travels. Looking forward to seeing you out there. Come by the pre-party, the running lab, see Coach Anique, see myself, our coaches, our pacers, get some info, hit New Balance, buy that swag.
I love it. I love Albany.
Chris, hello from Allentown, PA.
Hi, Chris.
Here we go. We'll ask our first question from ours. Are there free gels anywhere on the course or at the pre-party?
You know us. We're the New York Roadrunners. Of course, we have a gel station, and Science and Sport is our gel partner for this race. And I believe it's at mile 7.
Yeah, 6.8, something like that. 7.
The old 6.8, 6.87. And so yes, you can pick up free gels there. At the pre-party, they are selling them, so you can taste them before and see what you like. But we will have a gel station on the course. Also, if you're somebody who really likes, you need gels, this feels super important for you, you have specific flavors, don't hesitate to buy your own and have them with you. I know Coach Ben and Steve always recommend bringing an extra.
Always.
Because, pockets, zippers, things happen. You lose a gel, man down, it's okay, you got to back up. So we will have them both at the pre-party, where you can buy them, or at the gel station.
Yeah, stop by and make sure that you have practice with, again, Science and Sport will be on course. If you've been using another gel sponsor of some kind or gel, make sure you know what you're putting in you, especially on a day like Saturday where it will be a bit toasty. You don't want to have any GI issues on mile 10, having to make an emergency stop because Mother Nature is making an emergency call.
Trademark that. Trademark that.
Chris, what is the best way back to Prospect Park after the race? I'm going to say not running back is one way not to do it, but what do you think, Anique?
Please don't do that. I think it's the Q train. I think there's a lot of
the Q and the depending on what side of Prospect Park.
The subway is the best thing you have. The subway is your best friend in this instance, as it is often in as New Yorkers' lives. So I'd recommend getting right on the subway, and there's a lot of there's 4 train stops. So I know that the Q runs from Coney Island, it's express train back onto Prospect Park. There's also, depending on where you're going, it's a big park. As you will run, it's a big park. And so you can find exactly what train line is running near you. Otherwise, it'll probably be a quick transfer, and you'll be fine. But for me, it's definitely a subway more than trying to get a ride. Yeah,
because again, Ocean Parkway will be closed off to get traffic down there, and trying to get an Uber could be very challenging, even trying to find a cab at that point. So yeah, hop on the subway. If you're staying in a hotel or you're staying with friends, just ask them, which are you on the east side or the west side of the park to make sure you're on the right train, because I'm sure the last thing you want to do is take the wrong side and have to traverse across the park to find your way. But all the best, Chris, and make sure you have that subway card pre-filled and ready to rock. Coming at us. Sarah, nervous about the heat? Well, we're going to bring the heat, whether you want to or not.
We're going to bring the Sarah. Coach Ben's going to bring the heat. When people say they're nervous about the heat, I say good, because it just means you're thinking about it, Sarah. And if you're thoughtful about the heat, it means you're going to change your race plan and you're going to pull back. At the pre-party, we have pacing bands, and there's some folks coming up to the table, and they're like really set on a goal. For example, they really want to break 2 hours, and that's a wonderful goal. My favorite thing is that when I see the runners say, but probably not today. And that's really what we want our runners to say, is that you might have a personal goal that you're hunting down. There are going to be other half marathons. There are going to be other times for optimal weather. Weather plays a huge factor in achieving personal bests. So when runners are able to be nervous, evaluate their surroundings, think about what's really safe and important for them, and that means reducing pace, they're going to have a good day, right? Yeah. You can have a good day running in the heat if you pull back and you stay within yourself. And what it means to stay within yourself is just to run not into the red zone of your energy, right? Sometimes when we race, we like to go up right to that red line and really test ourselves. The test on Saturday will be the weather, right? Yeah. So what we're saying is just be smart about it and really trust that your body needs to pull back in the early miles. And if at the end, at the last mile, you feel amazing, go, have fun, run, right? You can do it. But we want you to be in that mindset when you get to the last mile. We want you to feel really, really good. And that means pulling back for much of the race.
Keep positive out there. And actually, that was a great segue. AJ, if you could bring up our pace chart. We talked about the pacers out there. The pacers will be in every single corral that we have. Here's up on the screen. Take a screenshot, snap it with your phone, whatever. Information is on the website as well, NYRR.org. Go to the RBC Brooklyn Half race page. You'll find the information. Information is at the pre-party as well. But we have pacers in every single corral in both wave 1 and 2. So find the pacer that corresponds best with you, and it could be behind you. If it's in front of you, it can't really help you out much. They can't put you up in a faster corral, but if they are behind you, Even if it means having to drop back a wave, usually I would recommend that maybe tomorrow on Saturday, if you can get yourself out there and manage your own without the pace team and you're in wave 1. I think this is one of those days where you probably want to stay where you are just to kind of get off the course before it gets too much warmer. But again, everything's out here. We're 120 up to 3 hours. Again, these are the best around. Talk to the Pacers at the pre-party, and then more importantly, talk to the Pacers when you get into the Corral. They will be in there. They'll have our singlets. Our poles will be in the middle of the Corral if they're by themselves. For corrals where there'll be more than one, the faster one will be in the front, the slower one will be in the back. But talk to them about what their race, or what their strategy is. Are they walking through the aid stations? What are they going for on the hills? Maybe the faster pacers out there may not adjust the pace too much, where maybe someone in our 220 or 230 range, they may have a different game plan. But it's all about hitting their time, getting you through the race as safely as they can. I was talking to some people yesterday. Hey, I've been training for 150, but man, it's going to be hot. I think 155. Be conservative, folks. Be smart. Be conservative, as Anik was saying, because the last thing you want to do is put yourself into that red zone, because once you break the threshold, there's really no coming back from it.
Yeah, these are amazing folks. So if pacing feels important to you, keep an eye out for our folks out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We have more questions coming at us, I think, so we'll kick it back over. We have Tiffany. May I run with a hydration backpack?
Yeah, so unfortunately, Tiffany, we do not allow backpacks on the course. So if it goes over your shoulders in straps, it can't be on the course. But what we do encourage is either you can do hydration belts, so they can be worn around the waist, or they can do handhelds. So you can carry a bottle or have one that straps on. But due to safety concerns, we don't have any backpacks on the course. But we do have waist packs, and you can always carry in your hands.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Erica. Will the Pacers slow down at the water stations? I think we just kind of went over this a little bit. Again, each Pacer is a bit different depending on where you're running through, but talk to the Pacers when you're there. But whatever your plan is, again, it goes by the Pacers will do what they have to do. We have, they have a time goal to hit, and they will do their darndest to make it. I mean, they're 99.9% most of the time. They are human. It does happen some days where you may just have a rough day. A rough patch happens, folks. But the Pacers will be there. But just talk to them about what their plans are. But more importantly, stay within yourself. If you need to stop to grab the water, to get the drink in, as Anik mentioned earlier, this is not a day to miss water, Anik. It's just so important out there.
Yeah, and then talk to your Pacers, and you'll see they'll go through a couple, right? Let's say you come up to a Pacer, watch them, right, as they go through the aid stations. Some do slow down a little bit to let folks fan out and get the water, and then some who are really, running very hot paces, as you said.
Yeah.
It's sort of a grab and go, right? So they might themselves go do a quick grab and go, and you can model that too. So you'll see what your Pacer does, but do what you need to do. That's the most important thing.
Good race, Erica. Have fun out there. We have Martin. Is there an app where family can track a runner?
liveresults.nyrr.org. So you can either download the app or you can just view it from a web browser. You can track your family and friends. You can track a couple people. You can do it by bib, by last name, I think. You can look up a whole host of runners. You can go on there now and you can get familiar. It has a map. So we do have a whole tracking system.
I have 143 people in my tracker.
Never mind, it goes up at least to 143, we know.
Even though only 50 max, I found a way around that. I talked to the IT team. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, what?
I had it in on that one, folks. No, NYRR.org or the racing app, get in there, get the runners in there to track. Because, there is not a dedicated app like we have for the United Airlines NYC Half or the TCS New York City Marathon, but you can use the native app or go to liveresults.org if you're on a web browser. Get the family and friends in there, check them out, because that will help at the end as well, because you know when your runner crosses that finish line, so you know where they are to get yourself to your meetup point, and more importantly, when Coach Steve crosses and when to find him.
Yeah, when you can get a free hot dog from Coach Steve, which we are holding
Everybody
him to.
track Coach Steve. That's the key. We'll get his bib number and we'll drop it in the chat later, folks. But we'll get that for you. Sorry, Steve, we had to. Sorry. Rob, how much water should we drink during the run? Gel every 30 to 45 minutes? It's kind of very unique. What do you think? Again, it's variable.
Yeah, so hopefully you are hydrating now. I know it is cold outside, or it's like cool outside. Please be hydrating now, hydrate tomorrow, hydrate morning of the race, and throughout the race, you want to be sipping water. So we really are encouraging runners to go through every aid station and be sipping water. We're not looking for a point in the race where you sit down and you guzzle half a gallon. That will just feel awful on your stomach. It really is about having a little bit of fluid on you as much as possible. Drinking. And so every time you go through, grab a cup. If you start to feel disoriented, dizzy, either you can stop by a medical tent or you can actually stop and walk and have a full cup of water, and that might help you feel better. But we really are saying early and often, go grab that water. And then for gels, it really depends on what you've used in the past. It'll have recommendations, turn your gel pack over. It'll tell you anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes is when most brands recommend you start having some gel. It's a glycogen substitute for energy. And so you start to feel a little bit more topped off. And just a good rule of thumb is to not take the gels with like a power drink or a sports drink. It's a lot of nutrition. We really recommend taking gels or chews with water to wash it down, but don't be topping off something gooey or gummy with, sort of a Gatorade or something like that. You really just want to have water if you are taking a gel. But if you aren't taking gel, Gatorade's great too. Things that have some electrolytes, a little bit of salt in them, they can also be helpful on race day. So feel free to go water, Gatorade, whatever it is. But we're especially for this weather, hit up every station if you can.
Yeah, put that fuel plan in place. Stick with it, Rob, because any variance could just really make it more challenging. Even on the best races, when things are going well, being on top of your fuel plan is critical. On Saturday, it's going to be paramount to get on there, because the last thing you want to do is hit ocean, be feeling good, and mile 10 the wheels just fall off. It happened to me in 2015. I thought I could miss a station here or there. It all went sideways, and here I was just doing the walk of oh well, happens.
It happens. It happens.
Way it goes. Rob, good race out there. Have fun. Come by and see us at the pre-party if you haven't come by yet. Mal, will the recovery bags have masks for the subway? That is a fantastic question. I'm going to say we don't know. We'll find that one out for you. Because I guess any paper mask in your pocket, well, that's going to be fun after the race, won't it?
Be a little wet, just a little wet. I know we've done that in years past, which is why our marathon bags had that. So maybe our producers can Google it, and maybe we can give it to you by the end of the show.
Great question. We'll look for that one. We'll find out. I know in the past we've given out stuff in the bags. If you have, if you're checking a bag before the race, I would say definitely drop in something extra through there. Again, everything our safety team is going for, but in this case, I would say for a mask, you probably want to have your own stuff. If you're checking a bag, put a mask or two in there for yourself. Maybe have one for a friend, because people may be looking around. I do know the MTA also has masks if you go to the booth, but there's 22,000 of you. I don't think they have that many. But yeah, I don't know if they'll be handing them out afterward or if they will be in the recovery bags, but we will look it up. And if we get the information before we're off the air, we'll let you know.
Cool.
They stumped us.
They stumped us. I know, I like it.
Congratulations. There we go. Steven, can we bring a waste bag of some kind on the course?
Do you mean a fanny pack?
Oh.
If waste bag is code for fanny pack, then yes, you are both stylish and efficient, and I support it. And this is you've now entered my fashion zone. And as a fashion consultant, I can tell you it's an excellent choice. And as a coach, I can also tell you it's allowed. So if there's waste bags, belts, things that attach around your waist that hold money or fluids or, what's the balm I'm talking about?
Oh, Body Glide.
Body Glide. You can bring those, absolutely. Those go around your waist. It's just the shoulder straps. Backpacks are not allowed. So yeah, you're good to go.
In terms of fashion out there, if Coach Unique had her way, we would do a Met Gala style event at the pre-party. We'd have a walk-in. I'm sure you.
We would. It would be nothing but fanny packs.
Exactly.
Fanny packs and power suits.
It's a pre-party. We should have fun with that.
It is a pre-party.
That's essentially what the entrance to the gala is a pre-party, right?
Actually, runners have been wearing their vintage Roadrunner T-shirts, and I am loving it. I have seen some really beautiful vintage shirts. So if you have an old race shirt from New York Roadrunners that you want to wear to the pre-party, stop by our pace booth so you can show me. I love them all, and I'm like, I remember that. I don't even know what that one is. It's amazing. What is that? So I'm a big fan of vintage race T-shirts. So bring your fashion to the pre-party for me, please.
There you go. Bring it out, runners. Love it.
All right.
We have Danielle. How much should we hydrate before the event?
Yeah, so hydration is like a super personal metric. So even nutritionists and sports nutritionists hesitate to say, here is a number and it is perfect for you. It is a lot more than you tend to realize. So, me personally, I drink anywhere between 90 to 100 ounces because I'm a person who hydrates a lot throughout the day, and that works for me. There's a lot of different metrics. I'd recommend going, you can go to the government website. The government, like the CDC,
Okay. And Health and Services.
Health and Services. They have some daily intakes on that. But the point is, if you're just drinking one or two, hold up your empty Gatorade bottle, one or two of these a day, you're not drinking enough water, especially in this heat. So if you're doing 5 or 6 of these leading into the race, a day, that's more what you're looking for. But it is personal, so it's a little bit hard for me to say it's 102 ounces of water per person. It's not how it works. It depends on body weight. It depends on sweating. It depends on just how acclimatized you are to your conditions. And that's another thing, folks. The reason why we're talking a lot about the heat is because it's going to be 72 the day before and in the 90s on race day, which means that if you are not coming from a warm or tropical area.
Florida, Texas, Georgia.
Georgia. If you're coming from the DR, you're going to be fine. If you are coming from Connecticut or New York City.
Or somewhere in New Jersey.
Somewhere, the entire state of New Jersey perhaps. It's going to be a little shocking. And it does take about 2 weeks for your body to acclimatize to heat, to start getting sweat production up and start getting your body, able to maintain its homeostasis a little better. So that's why it's going to feel a little bit more hot than usual. And so that's why if you were used to it, if it were August and we said it's going to be 90, everyone would say, yeah, whatever.
That's
I know.
Tuesday.
That's just an average day in New York City. But because we're not used to it as local New Yorkers, it is going to be a little bit more of our bodies going, whoa. Like Mr. Ed. And you just need to, thank you for knowing my Mr. Ed reference here. And you just need to take it a little bit easier and allow your body to adjust. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we were at the pre-party and I had like 4 or 5 bottles of flow water, and I realized when I got home, it's like, wow, I hadn't gone to the restroom that much. I'm like, so just an idea of like how much. I mean, those are 16-ounce cartons. I had 4 of them, and still wasn't enough, even in those conditions during the day.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about which, as coaches, we tend to talk a lot about, which is the color of your pee. And so if you are finding, this is just a quick and easy way to look that when you pee and you look down, and if it is looking like light lemonade or even clear, you're good. If it is looking dark or it is just more yellow, that's when you know you are underhydrated.
Yep.
And you really need to be taking in more water. Sometimes in the morning, it's fine, you haven't had any fluids, don't worry about that. But during the day, if you are not going to the bathroom or you are seeing something that's much darker in color, you need to be hydrating more, and your body really can benefit from having that added water.
Now I'm gonna make a kid's book out of that. What color?
What color is your pee by coaches?
I mean, because they have
everywhere.
Them about poo, so they have them about pee. But we're gonna move on, folks. TMI there. We'll move on to the next question. We're getting out of control on a Thursday morning. What have we got, Stuart? At which mile do we enter Prospect Park? I don't know the exact. It's somewhere between 3 and 4, I believe. We head on into Prospect Park.
Yeah,
so.
we have maps. You're gonna have a guide. You're gonna have a little pocket guide. We have a map up here. Maybe we can come back to it.
I don't actually has an exact map location here. I want to say it's around, like I know the 5K is at the court, so I know like this area around here, I'll draw it out for you. Right around here is around like 3.5 is where those tennis courts are, because I know there's a water station there. If I should bring up the hydration, there should be a place to drink. And look at that. You got to run this course before, haven't you? That right there is around the 5K is where that hydration, I'll actually point to this one here, that hydration area there, that's around like the 5K mark. So give yourself another 400, 600 meters. So, call it about 3.5 or 4. I know the top of Battle Pass is around mile 5. But yeah, again, I mean, I like to use that water station at the 5K as like the beginning of like putting the fuel plan. I'm already drinking, but I use that as a way to, for my gel personally. Again, what I do when I race in this course, I use that as a good spot there. But yeah, around 3.5, Stuart, should be good to go. Yeah. But yeah, have everything in place there and enjoy that 3.3 mile loop.
All right, Jeff asks, will there be shaded areas in the stadium or elsewhere post-race? We have 3 hours before the kids' 1 mile race. There's a kids race too on the Boardwalk. They have the most fun. So if you have kids running this race, it's just, I don't know. I've done the kids race for many years. Not personally me as a participant, but as a coach. I just want to clarify. But it is a wonderful time. And so the shade is really going to depend on where the sun is in the sky.
Overhead.
And where it is in the morning. So some parts of the stadium will be shaded, other parts will be in sun. And then the stadium itself will cast a shadow. But please note that we are by the beach. And so it's not known for its evergreen trees, right where we are. Yeah. So what you're going to be looking for is building shade. And so some parts of the stadium are going to have shade, other parts are going to be in direct sun, and so it's going to be just finding a good place for you and your kids to hang out.
But the beach has the ocean.
The beach does have the ocean.
So worst case, you just jump in and cool off. But yeah, again, wear a hat, be safe, have a fun time with the kids race. I mean, that looks so much fun. I saw some kids yesterday getting their bibs. They were so excited to have that. They're going to have a great time out there.
They get the best medals. The kids always get the best medals in my mind. I always like the kids' medals. But yeah, it's super fun. They're going to have a great time. But you can even, go a little bit away from the stadium and then come back for the kids' race. Don't feel like you have to stay right at the kids' race area. You can actually go a little bit, hang out in some shade, come on back.
I know in the subway station there at Stillwell, kind of the area where Dunkin' Donuts is, there's a spot in there you can kind of hang out, and it's all shaded. I mean, you have to kind of stand to the side because there will be a throughput as people get off the race. But if you need to find a place to stay, it's in the shade. To be cool, that would be a location if the stadium's tough to get into.
Yeah. All right. How far in advance would you recommend reaching the start prior to your wave start time? I love this question. This is one of my favorite questions because it is so, I mean, I'm so flustered. I love this question so much. I think folks here when it's a 7 a.m. start time for wave 1 and 7:45 for wave 2, they're like, cool, I'll see you at 6:59. No, friends. No. Let us just say right now, this is a 22,000 person race. And you really, the corrals close about 20 minutes. It's about 20 minutes before the race starts. The corrals are closed. So what you need to do is be there even more in advance. Now in your packets, when you come to pick up your bib, you'll get a little race guide. That race guide will tell you it's also on the website, so like you don't have to wait, exactly when you have to be in your corral. You have to factor in bag check time, transportation time. Be extremely generous with your time. It is the best thing about this warm weather is you're not going to be cold in the park or you're cold coming to the start line. Sometimes, we're like, oh, runners, it's like 30 degrees, and that's really when you need to be there just enough time, but not too much time. Come, grab a seat on a bench, relax. You really have a lot of beautiful weather to enjoy. And so you should come a little bit earlier. But check out the website or the race guide in your bib pickup pack, and it'll tell you exactly the last minute you have to be there. But we recommend earlier.
Yeah, earlier the better, folks. We have Chris. Can you get into the corrals from the sides, or is there only one entrance? Yes, there is one entrance to this, Chris. When you exit off of your desired subway stop, whether it be for wave 1 or wave 2, off of the 2-3, they will funnel you around. The first thing you will do is hit bag check. UPS will be out there collecting your bags if you will be dropping a bag off. Then you will kick it through NYPD security. Give our women and men in blue a high five. I thank you for being out there, for doing their part to help us out to be safe. And then you will enter into the corrals. And there will be A through L. You will come into the back, so L will be first. So kind of meander your way, get close to your corral. People are asking about warm-ups. Where can I do my warm-ups? There'll be a space off to the side where you can kind of do some strides. Again, it's going to be a warm day, as Anik already alluded to, so you're not going to need to do a whole lot more to get quote-unquote warm because it's going to happen naturally, folks. But if you want to do, some basic, form drills or just a little bit of strides to kind of get yourself work up a little bit of a sweat or get the heart rate just a little bit before you jump into your corral. That's the best way to do it. There are porta potties out there as well. If you see a long line, try to find one with a shorter line. Get yourself in there to make any last-minute pit stops before you hit and get ready to go down. Because about 20 minutes before the race, your wave starts, the corrals will close. They will break the corrals down. They will begin to march you down to the start line. So make sure you're in there at least 20 minutes before, if not even up to an hour. You can sit on a curb, sit on the ground. It won't be raining. It'll be a nice day. Bring something to read or to hang out and talk to a friend or make a new friend.
Make a new friend in your corral. Yeah, I'm always I'm a nervous racer. Okay. I'm also early to airports and movie theaters, so this is my natural inclination is not to want to miss good things. Yeah. So I'm always I'm that person in the crowd who's like, hey, it's good to be here. I'm the first one in an empty corral. So somewhere between me being in the completely empty corral and being the last one in corral is where we recommend you show up. Yeah. All right. Do we have any? Here we go. Wow. Tiffany says, my average pace for my last long run, 12.2, was 8:32 per mile. I usually run faster during races, but with the heat, what pace group should I join?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Again, that's a fantastic final long run. I'm guessing, Tiffany, when you were done with that 12.2, you probably could have continued on for at least another mile, so you were comfortable in that 8:32 pace. And if you were training up here in the Northeast, in the last 2 weekends, we had rain 2 weeks ago. Last weekend was overcast and a bit muggy out there. So again, the conditions were really good. We talked about it, be conservative. I was talking to someone yesterday, and you have to do your race plan, and the best thing is have options. Maybe have an A, B, or C goal. We can grab the pace bands. You can have different options and choices that you want to go with. That maybe in this case, with this race not being ideal condition, maybe step back. One pace group. I don't think 2 would be that much of a stretch. But again, how well you run in heat will determine that. How well you feel. Personally, I don't like the heat, so I would be even more conservative with my assessment of where I want to put myself. It's always better to be someone on Ocean Avenue who's done a good job conservatively early, and you're the one passing people at mile 10, 11, 12, then being passed, because it's never fun to be the one being caught.
That's the other thing too, that it's fun to be conservative in the beginning, and you get a lot of energy from passing folks. I don't know what the special magic is, but there is energy when you're the person who's moving and everyone else is sort of slowing down. So if the 8:32 pace felt super easy and like a jog, I might say that's your race pace for the day, right?
Yeah.
That might be your race pace in this heat. If 8:32 was pushing it, but maybe not as fast as your anticipated race pace, you might be going back to 8:40 or even 8:50 in the heat to start. As we said before, you can always pick up the pace, but once you lose your energy and you sort of start feeling bad, it's really hard in the heat to get an upswing and start feeling good. So conservative in the beginning as much as possible. Go back a pace group or two and relax into it.
I made the mistake one year. I wore a red shirt in a race, and I was slowing down. You can imagine I was that guy that got passed by everybody. Why? Because the red shirt stands out and they catch you on the way through. So light colored clothing.
Get him.
Exactly. I was like, why have they been passing me? I'm like, oh, I'm the guy in red. Easy to see around all the dark colors. And this race is going to be warm, so light colored clothes. If you have some well-tested gear, happy clothes, happy body, as Anique said earlier, make sure you have light colored clothes out there, runners, with a hat. Talking yesterday, like a wristband to help like dab the sweat out of your eyes a little bit. Anything that kind of
Coach Ben fashion.
Actually, that was I love tennis. I watched tennis in the 80s with the wooden racket. Bjorn Borg, John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors, all the fun folks out there. But yeah, again, anything to help you stay as comfortable in the conditions we're going to have.
Yeah.
Lots of questions. Are there timing mats every 5K? Now, we're getting stumped left and right. I tell you, folks, I failed this test today.
I know. I want to say yes, because we're
Not
tracking.
Every 5K.
Yeah, we're doing tracking throughout the race, and so I want to say yes. And our timing team is probably screaming in the background, going, "We know the details of the specifics. It'll be on the website.
It will
about
be out
how
there.
It tracks."
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are tracking you throughout the race, and so yes, I want to say that there's
5K is typical. I know for the NYC half, those were the mats. It was at the 5K, so 5, 10, 15, 20, and then the finish line. So yeah, the mats will be out there because it's always good. I know some races we do every mile, but I don't think we're quite at that level yet in terms of like the overall scope of what we're doing. But yeah, the 5Ks will be out there. That way your family knows, okay, you crossed through 5K, you know where you are, you know where Coach Steve is, how close you are to a free hot dog, all those important things in life. So,
Coach Steve's gonna
gonna
burst through the door soon. All right, let's see what else we have. Thoughts on food the night and day before. Go with what you know, Andrea.
Hashtag that.
Hashtag go with what you know. Yeah, and so you're not looking to necessarily carbo load or learn a new technique about superfoods in this last minute. Acai berries, if you haven't eaten them before, don't eat them the night before the race. The point is to go with food that you know sits well in your stomach and that you can digest. We always recommend eating breakfast before you run. A lot of runners like to have that breakfast about 2 to 4 hours before, depending on how long it takes for you to digest. I'm a 4-hour before kind of runner. I need a lot of digestion. Some folks need 2 hours. Some folks seem to be able to eat a steak dinner, on the starting line. That is not who I am. But you're looking for foods that help top off your glycogen stores. So you're looking for foods that are carbohydrate rich. They do have some proteins, they have some fats, those are important too for your meal, but you're looking for stuff that's generally carbohydrate rich, so when you go on race day, you have as much energy/glycogen in you, and you are ready to be as fueled as you can be on the starting line. So people tend to favor pastas or other carbohydrate rich foods. On race morning, that looks like rice cakes or bagels, or I'm always the bagel with some peanut butter and half a banana sort of person. Yep. Or any of the bars that you might like. There's always little breakfast bars that have some carbs in them, and those are great on the go if you're trying to be on the subway and you've got an early morning commute too. So really go with the foods that sit well in your stomach. Try and get breakfast in, even if it means waking up a little early. I think people are going to be up. I think you're going to be up.
You're ready to go.
You're going to be up, grab breakfast. And then race morning, you're really just looking to avoid dairy, things that are really just harder to digest, and have less use for you as a fuel source. So dairy is really not going to do much for you as a fuel source on race day. It's great in recovery. Like I'm all about going to get some chocolate milk after a race, but for race morning, it's going to be hard to digest, and it doesn't have a lot of energy benefits exactly at that time. So.
And my pre-race meal the night before is sushi. It's worked for me for years.
Sushi's amazing.
It has the rice, has the carbs, has the salt, and the lean protein. For me personally, again, it's something I've used for several years now. But again, Andrew, whatever you've been doing, the training, we talked about it before, nothing new. You should know, tried and true, what's going through, working for you for your long runs at this point. But I mean, sushi for me has worked really well. I'm a heavy sweater, so I like the extra kick of sodium.
Yeah, I work with our professional runners a lot, New York road runners, and seeing what the international runners eat, it's great. It's like there's no right or wrong thing to eat, but a lot of our Japanese runners would have sushi and just like really diverse tastes of food, which is awesome. Which just goes to show that like they're amazing, they're professional runners, and they're not eating like the bagel with the peanut butter and banana. So like you can get a lot of different options and get a really great performance in.
Have a great race.
So don't let anyone tell you that your food choice is not appropriate.
Okay, again, Renee asking, does the 3-hour pacer, what is going to be their strategy on the run-walk intervals? Again, I know that someone told me before, I didn't know this, but the Disney marathon pacers for their races, they do the Galloway method. They do run-walk. I learned that a little while ago. That was fascinating. Again, I was talking to one of our pacers who's not 3 hours, just 2:45. They will not do a run-walk. They will just keep it, very conservative in the pacing. They'll like about 12:45 pace for those, and then about 13.5 for the 3-hour group. They will not do a run walk. Again, they have to get to where they're going. But talk to them. There are multiple paces out there, but I think the ones I've been talking to from our own pace team, the run walk is not what they'll be going for through a water station. They may stop to get water. I did talk to one pacer yesterday. That is going to be her strategy. She will walk through the water station, then pick herself back up again to the next one. But again, I would just, if you have a moment, Renee, when you're coming through the pre-party, if the pacer's there, talk to them. If not, when you get in the corral on race day, just check to see what they're doing, see if it matches up or aligns with what your strategy is. If it does, great. If not, please stick to what you've been doing. This is your race. Make it the best it can be on Saturday.
Yeah, and don't be shy about asking runners around you what pace they're going to do. Like, like if you're at mile 6 and you have been continuously next to somebody who's running your identical pace, you've just got a new best friend. Like, I'm not even joking. The two of you can buddy system it. Yep. And if you are lucky enough to find someone who's holding your pace too, you want to run together, buddy group it. Like, it's a lot of good energy. So when you're having a rough patch, they can be there. And when they're having a rough patch, you can hold the pace. So don't be shy about making a friend on the New York City streets. We highly recommend it.
Traveling runner, is the water at Coney Island safe for swimming? I know this, the person asked this question. Thank you so much. I talked to you yesterday at the pre-party. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. Love the question. Is the safe for swimming? I mean,
yes.
Any other sharks in the water?
As a person who is deeply afraid of sharks, I'm going to tell you it's safe for swimming.
There we go.
I don't think it was a shark-related question. I think it was more about
yes. In general, yeah.
Yes. There's like New York City. I'm just going to do a plug for New York City. We have fantastic drinking water, and the Atlantic Ocean is gorgeous and clean and beautiful. So yes, if you can access, you might not be able to access. It's not like you finish and then we direct you right into the ocean.
A sharp left.
There's a sharp left, and we throw you off. So the boardwalk will keep you away. So you're going to have to go down and access the water. Like my hand is like off over here. You're going to have to access the water a little bit later. Not right at the finish line, but yes, the water is beautiful for swimming. It's going to be cold as. Cold as heck.
It will be cold, and also just check. If you're concerned. I mean, I don't. If you're concerned about rip currents or rip tides, I know sometimes that can churn up a little bit depending on how the tides are flowing. So again, in that regard, check that. But it's not like there's not boats in the area. There's not people on jet skis in the area to make it unsafe. Just get up to your waist deep and just sit down
ice
to
bath.
cool off. Yeah, it will be the best ice bath of your life, and then go find Coach Steve. just kidding.
Just kidding. We're not kidding.
We're not kidding.
Okay, if I get to the corral early, will it still be possible to use the bathroom before the race? So yeah, so there's going to be a wall of toilets. Sometimes I love massive races, a wall of many toilets for many people. So I'd recommend hitting up the bathrooms before you get in the corral. And then if you have to and you've got enough time, you can hop back out. You might lose your spot. Folks tend to love to stand really close to the front of their corrals. It is this like human behavior thing. So if you don't care about being at the front of your corral, you can pop back out, you can go to the bathroom. And if you find that there's a lot of, the bathrooms right in front of you have a huge line for no reason, you can walk down a little bit and use some of the other bathrooms as well. So we always recommend going before, but If for some reason you had to go back out and the corrals are not closed, you can go back out and come back in.
I think MoMA actually had an art installation called Wall of Toilets.
Wall of Toilets. Yeah, it was me. I was the artist.
It was fascinating. It was a great installation, very usable.
I have a side hobby.
That's it. That's all she wrote, folks. Well, Anik, fantastic course strategy. Runners, it will be warm. Hopefully, we've given you some tips and tricks to stay out there. Any partying love for our runners out there? Any tips and tips out there?
You're smart. Trust yourself, right? Listen to your body. Take out your headphones if you're wearing them. Listen to how your breathing is. Be your own best advocate. There are more races to run. There are more miles ahead of you. Make this one fun. This can be the most fun race if you pull back on your effort and you are really conservative and you hit up every hydration station. You can be a really happy runner, and we want you to be a happy runner. So just be your own best advocate, listen to your body, and make the smart choice every single time.
And you're back at noon.
I'm back
with
at
our
noon.
Partner for Hospital Special Radio. What are you guys talking about?
We're going to be talking about dynamic movements. So if you're a person who wants to know about warm-ups, dynamic stretching, and how to improve your speed, join us. I would love to talk to you then.
Coming back at noon, top of the hour, wherever we are right now, but be back there. But runners, until then, we will be at the pre-party today. Our coaches, New Balance, come buy some swag that you will wear on Sunday after the race, not on Saturday during the race. But get yourself hydrated out there. Be safe, be smart, take care of each other. And thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.